Hi everyone, I am Simran and in this video I'll walk you through how to monitor a Spring Boot application using OpenTelemetry and OpenObserve. So you'll see how to track both logs and distributed traces in real time using a lightweight setup which is perfect for microservices and modern development teams. So I'll walk you through the things which we'll be setting up. First, we'll have a Spring Boot application running, and in this, we'll configure OTel SDK to get the trace related data. And we'll also have logs related data using the OTel and other libraries. Then this will export the logs and traces to the OTel collector, which will receive the OpenTelemetry data, and it will route those data or export the data to OpenObserve cloud, which will help us to filter out and to visualize and perform analysis on our data. So to start with, let's log into our OpenObserve cloud account. So this is my previous set of data which I have added. So you can see around 30 streams and different events data have been ingested. So first let me check if I am able to send or ingest data to this server. So first I'll go to the the data sources section, and here under custom you'll find the basic curl command. So this credentials you can just copy. Yeah, then you can open your terminal and this just paste this. On running this, it will take some time and will show a successful message. So that means it was able to ingest the data, and if I go to the log section here, I need to select the stream. If I go back to the URL I did use earlier, so this in this URL I had defined default to be my stream. Okay, so I need to select the default stream to get the data, and I need to set it for past say 1 minute. And if I run this query, so you'll see whatever curl request I made, the same thing is I have received the log in my OpenObserve dashboard. So our cloud account and credentials are working fine. So similar way we can get the credential if we go to data sources, and then we have traces part open telemetry. So this credential will be using while configuring our open telemetry collector. Okay. So let's get back to the repo we have. This repo contains everything related to the Spring Boot app. So this is the sample Spring Boot application we'll be working on. So this is what our project structure looks like. So we have a demo application, which is the main where the processing starts, and then we have a hello controller.java. It's just a greeting based app which will just greet you, okay, hi, hello. Those this hello controller has the at the rate with span this annotation, and it also generates logs. And in case of hello service, you are manually spanning using tracer. Apart from that, we also have application properties file for OTLP configuration and logback spring file for the logback append out. So you need to use this logback logback spring XML file, because it will format your logs in a structured way, and then it will export them to the OpenTelemetry SDK. So then the SDK then will forward it via the OTLP to the collector. So it makes your logs basically exportable. Cool. Now as a prerequisite, you need to have Java version 17 or above installed, and then Gradle installed, and then you need to have OpenTelemetry collector running. In this repo we have added the config file, what the config file should look like. You can just modify the endpoint. I'll just open it for you. So this is what the file will look like. You can just modify the endpoint and the authorization from the OpenObserve dashboard from here, and then make use that to run basically use this to run your hotel collector. So the steps for configuring the outer collector, like downloading it, unzipping and installing it, are mentioned, and you can just run it with by defining the config.yml file. So I already have it running, so I'll show you. This is my config file. I have added in the headers and the basic authorization needed, plus along with the endpoint. So I'll just have it running. So this will take some time. So by the time this gets ready, let's just clone this repo so that we have our Spring Boot application up and running. Okay, so we have here whatever we wanted. So meanwhile you can see our hotel collector is up and running, everything is ready. We have begun running and processing data. So the gRPC server has started at port 4317 and the HTTP server has started at port 4318. Cool. This might take some time. Oh, this failed, and all I can see is dependency request Java runtime version 8, and this build uses the wait version. Okay, so let me just echo what is Java. Oh, yeah, so this is, maybe I might be using this for a different application, so I need to update the location to, I do have Java 17 version installed, but it is just not, the environment variables are just not pointing to that. So now we can hit our servers, say anything, and then there can be a hello. Cool. So if you see, like if we go to the open telemetry traces we had, in the log section, I'll select the stream and I'll run the query. So for the past 1 minute, many requests have been made. Some requests were dropped. So we made a request to mostly to say with the name anything. Then we made a request for a general request of hello. If nothing is there, it will a request for hello world. So that is what we have. And then if we come to traces section, here we'll be able to see the traced data, say past 1 minute. Okay, I run the query. So this is the one we ran. If you closely observe it, so this says that from the start of this request till this point of time, the request was at get hello. The request was processing for the /hello path. Then it went to, at this point of time, it went to hello controller, the controller in the hello controller.java file to the hello function. Then it went to hello controller.java file to the do some processing function. These were the sequence of events, and there is no issues as such, so things are fine. Now let me just willingly introduce an issue so that we understand where these things are. The tracing part is actually helpful. Say I mark it as error. Okay, so this won't execute, instead it will show us a 500 internal server error. This was in our code piece, this was present in our code piece beforehand. So in the controller file before, in the hello function itself, if the request came for error, then we have to throw a exception, that is a runtime exception. Cool. So if I go back to the traces section and just run this query again so that I get the latest data. So this is the data I have. Okay, if I click on this, you will see that this shows a red alert, this shows a red alert, and this is okay. So although our request failed, but if we went on to debug, okay, why did our request fail? Let's come to logs part. And then let me run this. Okay, no stream selected. So I select a stream and then I run this for past 1 minute. Okay, let's say past 5 minutes. These are the logs. Do they tell you? I'll have to filter on whether they have failed or not. So maybe I'll just severity, based on severity I'll filter which is the error one. Okay, now again if I run the query, so I have a timestamp and the details like okay, this failed, this request did fail, but I don't know where it did fail. If I see any of the attributes here, none of them are capable of telling me where this particular thing failed. Okay, if I go back to the traces part, here I select the particular one where we had the error. Now if I trace it back, the entire request, if I trace it, it's clear that things didn't go wrong here. Here the do some processing function executed very well, there was no error. Error started from here where in the hello function. So this resulted in runtime exception. Now I can easily go back to my piece of code and see what changes needs to be done. The same would not have been possible if I was just looking at the logs, right? So traces helps us to debug issues easily because we want to trace the request end to end from how they went from one service to another. This is more useful when you have multiple microservers just deployed, like you have, say for an e-commerce application, you have like a product microservice, you have user microservice, you have payment microservice, you have database. So in those cases, a request of a user might go from logging into the portal, then searching for some products, and then adding it to cart, and then placing an order, and then proceeding to payment, and the payment might fail. Okay, so the payment failure can be a result of any of the action. Maybe the token have expired while he was going through the process of order and all. So when you trace back, you will be able to realize ki where the request actually failed and how that could be avoided. That could have been avoided, right? Cool. Apart from this, you can also create dashboards, which you so each time you'll have what is happening currently is each time you are coming over here, you are selecting the stream, then you are running the query. You need to do each time, right? With dashboards, that's not the case. So I'll just create a new dashboard, maybe dummy dashboard. Then let's have a normal, and I am selecting default folder because we want a default stream to be there. So if I want to add a panel and it is an histogram of timestamp, and in the Y column we want to add severity. Okay, so we'll add this to Y, count of severity, and then we'll apply. So this will give us that okay, during this point of time we had like 8 requests, and I also want to filter on, like this is not giving us a complete data, so I also want to filter on severity for the type error. Okay, and then apply it. So I'll see that during this period of time I got one error, the count is 1 and the timestamp is 0. So this dashboard will always show me the number of error logs I got. So if I save it, there are some errors. Okay, what is the name of the panel is required? Yeah, so I'll say error logs. Okay, that will be the name, and I've saved it. Now every time I want to becomes a part of my dashboard now. Now every time I want to get the same data, I won't rewrite all the query or run it. I'll just refresh the panel and I'll get fresh data. I'll refresh again and I'll get fresh data. Now let me try hitting this same query again so that I get more data. Say 2 3. Okay, now if I come back here and then I refresh this, you'll see during these two timestamps we have got like 2 requests at this timestamp and 3 at this. So our data gets automatically updated if we just refresh this. There are some other features like you can automatically select how long for the means the data you want. Maybe I'll make this to last 5 minutes. past 5 minutes and apply. So this will now show for just the 5 minutes. We can also refresh this based on our need. If we don't want to come and refresh, we can set it for auto refresh in 15 minutes or 13 minutes, anything we want. So there are a lot multiple features. Also, we can add multiple panels to our dashboard. I can add more panels over here. So that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and you now understand what OpenObserve has to offer in terms of monitoring and observability.